is Jerry Cannoli here. This is Chasing Fruit Loops, a Long Island-based show running out of Bobby Lacerra's Paradise Studios. Tonight, my special guest is Jesse Snider.
Hello, where is the camera? Is it right there?
It's right there.
That's us. Hello,
That's
everyone.
us.
How you doing?
All right, Jess.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for being here. I really appreciate it.
Wait, you were just telling me we know each other from beforehand, that you introduced
your
me,
band.
my band.
Your band.
Blazed? Was it when Chris was alive, when my drummer was alive?
I don't know. I just know it was like the 90s.
Okay, in the 90s.
It had to be the 90s. It had to be.
Wait, no, it had to be.
Jesse Omega, maybe?
No, it has to be early 2000s, because that was like the earliest I was playing was, I guess, by 99 was like the earliest gigs.
Yeah, I
with my
remember your
drummer,
mom and dad there.
But he passed away. I got into a car accident going home to where? I want to say Babylon. What's out east?
It's over
Montauk.
What's there?
The Hamptons? The Hamptons.
Hamptons.
Yeah, on his way home to the Hamptons,
no.
and we lost him. So I'm really blessed for the people that got to see that stuff, and I'm really excited because I finally got to put out his playing. I didn't find out until a decade later that his dad mastered all the demos that we had done after he died, and I got to put him out online with a couple days to spare as I was releasing a bunch of old material.
Very cool.
Which you can go online and find.
Well, tell them where.
Jesse Blaze.
Tell them
and
where.
You can find all my music. There's 6 albums, and they're all awesome. So you should do it.
He is. This guy's multi-talented.
Thank you.
I was reading his bio, and in his bio, he illustrates comic books, writes comic books.
Well, I don't illustrate them. I write them.
You write the
I started
comic books.
as an artist, but I'm not that good. But one day I'll do some art. But I write the scripts. I've written for Marvel and DC and Disney, Pixar, and the Muppets, licensed stuff.
Did you bring any magazines with you?
You know, I don't have my car with me today, I don't have. It would be in my vehicle.
But he's so talented. I mean, singer, songwriter, right? Mm-hmm. He does voiceovers. He does the comic book stuff. What else do you do that I'm missing?
Well, the trifecta is the voiceover, the comic books, and the music. But I mean, I do tons of things. I mean, I've been hosting for forever, and everybody knows my voice. Want more taste? Get America's favorite pizza, Pizza Hut, now online. Or buying a Kia is one smart move.
See, I didn't know any of this. This is so cool.
Next on Food Paradise. I could never quote myself on Food Paradise, even though I've done 175 episodes.
Wow.
But I used to narrate for Smithsonian Channel, so I've been in your ears for a long time. I'm pretty prominent, voiceover actor in my generation. But I do a lot of other things, so it tends to get in the way of what I do. But I've helped my brothers produce their films, and and really producing things, producing my own comic books, producing music. That's become, what I like to do the most.
Talk about the comic books.
Well, the coolest thing that I've ever done, which was based on my frustration working in the system, trying to write for Marvel and DC, trying to write these licensed comic books for Disney. And there was so much trouble, I found, in just doing great work. So it's like a lengthy conversation. I'm actually about to launch a podcast, Freelance Isn't Free, talking about just all the different ways in which the art gets messed up. And that's my concern as an artist. I want to see better art made, and I used to kind of revel going why aren't they doing this? Why isn't this happening? Somebody should be doing this. And I'd want to get him, I'm going to go and do that. And then when I started trying to work within the system, I'm now I understand why the people aren't doing that, because it's very difficult. Just based on odd parameters of the system, like the fact that so many of the ideas and the good ideas are being handed down from on high. Like you get handed that from your editor. Hey, I've got a Spider-Man idea. You want to throw me a pitch? Not, hey, here's my great Spider-Man idea. So often it's ideas that you wouldn't necessarily be inspired to write, it's something they were inspired to write, but they're not going to write it. They're just going to oversee you writing it. So you're setting up the situation of you're writing their story for them. It's really terrible power dynamics where the power is not in the creative people's hands. So I set out to do this thing that was perfect, and Blacklight District became it. We did 6 songs with my friend Will Knox, and they're gorgeous and really cool industrial kind of AWOL Nation pop rock songs. And then we did 6 different comic books to support them that are like lyric music videos. And if you read them and listen at the same time, it's like a psychedelic experience. It's very cool. People loved it, and I love it. It's my favorite thing I've ever done. So you can still see it for free at www.blacklightdistrict.co.
All right, did you get that?
Yeah.
www.blacklightdistrict.co.
Yeah, and if you're a comic fan, like, I swear, it's legit. I mean, I got Eric Larson and Chris Eliopoulos doing old school colors and lettering over Phil Hester's art, and I got Jason Pearson, and I got a painted one by J.K. Woodward, and I got a whole bunch of rookies kicking ass, and a great cover by Chris Burnham and Andrew Dahlhaus.
And you didn't
Check
bring
it out.
anything with you?
I'm sorry. I like I said, my car is my cubby, and I don't have it today.
My car is my cubby.
Yes, let me go out to the car. I think I have
And see what I
something
got in there.
Yeah, and that used to be the thing too when you had like demos and stuff. It's like, give me a minute.
Yeah, 1 minute.
You go.
Yeah, you look in my
Here's a
truck and you see a
t-shirt.
pair of shoes. That's about it.
Thanks. Yeah, I used to have a big pile, but I had 2 fires, so I lost
Oh,
all my
no.
like merch and like everything that I had like for a while.
How do you have 2 fires? I like.
Good luck, bad luck. I don't know how it depends on how you want to look at it. I'm looking at it as good luck now.
Okay.
But yes,
All right, you
I'm
have a
kind of a
good-
Buddha.
He's very he's got great energy. He's a little hyper, but he has great energy.
I am a little hyper.
Well, keep on having coffee with 8 sugars in it.
This is tea with
Oh,
8 sugars
well,
in it.
it's still
Thank you very
tea.
much.
Oh, excuse me.
This is why I'm so sweet.
See, this is why we have such great dynamics, because I'm the mellow one finally. And I don't do
I've been
sugar.
looking for a woman who can match my energy.
I'm too old.
Oh, okay, sorry.
He is cute
you're
though,
out there.
ladies. He really is cute. You are a jack of all trades, really. Like, you think about all of this. You were talking about the music, the comic books, and there was something about toys and media. But what I want to hear about is boutique music. Mm-hmm. Is that like elevator music that they play in the stores? And
No,
it's just
no.
like-
Well, it's
Boutique.
boutique. We're my company, Blacklight District Studios, is a boutique comic book and music studio where we're just doing small, run. We're not, at a big label. We're just producing on the slide, doing, alternative cool stuff. I've produced some stuff for Four Horsemen Studios. Who are these great toy sculptors. They've got a line of toys that they kickstarted that they've made millions of dollars, not made millions, but they've like raised millions for Mythic Legions, and we produced the first comic book for their line. And then I produced
This is
Blacklight
cool.
District, and then I also produced some different things for some film companies. Unicorn Cobra Films that we produced some different slides for some of their things when I was living out in Los Angeles. So it was just a company that produces little boutique things. I produced also music stuff for Diabetes. We did The Price last year for a cover of my father's song, The Price, for diabetes awareness. And then we're doing another song this year, although... Well, can I say that? Yeah, well, okay.
You can say it.
It's been settled that it's going to be my song, Carry Me Home, is being used for diabetes awareness this year.
Oh, wow.
So that's really cool. And I try to, help other friends, produce demos and things like that. And that's really where it's come from, of just like me liking somebody's music and going,
Right.
let's
Let's
come
do
on,
something.
let's do something. It's just growing now from there. I'm working with people in South Africa. So much of it's through the internet already. And then as COVID happened, all of a sudden, like, I was already working through the internet. So, like, for me, this was like, all right, hey, I'm like going to be the most productive person in the house because I've been doing this already for the past year. And now I'm working with these people from Australia, which is going really good. And I'm all psyched up about that new album.
And I'm laid off. Isn't it awesome?
Oh, great. Sorry. Sorry to hear that.
Well, these things happen.
Well, not all this stuff generates huge amounts of money or anything. It's just I love to do it, so I do.
Well, yeah. So what do you do do you have spare time? Do you have spare time?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not with my 4 kids.
4?
I have 4 kids. Yeah, 4 kids.
I'm like, why?
And then like being
Sorry.
like single dad, like, 'cause you gotta like squeeze in the time as
yeah.
you can. So you just end up not sleeping and stuff. Maybe that's why I'm manic. I'm like, all right, give me some tea with 8 sugars.
8 sugars in it.
But yeah,
I'm like looking at the message and
my
I'm like,
excuse
8
is I'm a
sugars!
father of 4 and I'm a good one. So that's time consuming. But yeah, I mean, I used to. I haven't recently because I've just been like.
Mad busy.
Yeah,
And plus we weren't allowed out.
It's been like a weird moment, but and it's really hard for me to get things done with my kids when they're around. So it's a lot of like, because it's not the first one that you want to destroy. It's the fourth one that you want to. The first one's like, "Hey, Dad, how you doing, Dad?" And you're like, "All right, it's okay.
Here we
Like
go.
I'm working,
Here we go.
well, can I get like a snack or something?" And he's like, "Okay, cool." And he leaves, and the second one's like, "Hey, Dad, I see the other one over there. He's got a snack." And then, and then the third one's like, "Hey, also I see about a snack." And then the fourth one comes to you, and you're like, "Shut up! You're gonna have a snack!" And they're like, "I love you. I just wanted to say I love you." You're like, I'm a bad father. Damn it! They broke me on the fourth one. They got me. It's a stress test when you have 4 children, but it's fun, and I think I'm slowly getting sort of the hang of it. The fourth one comes, and I'm like, no! You love me, right? You want a snack too? Okay. I think that I love you is just a defense position. I just came to say I love you, Dad. You're like, you didn't. You came to ask for snacks, you son of a bitch.
Okay. And this is why I stopped at 1.
I love having children.
Well, you do that because mine's 4 years younger than you.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
My son's going to be 34 in October.
Oh, I'm about to be 38.
Oh, the big 38.
I don't know.
39 hurt me.
Did it?
And all the other years didn't bother me.
I don't know. I haven't been too
awesome.
bothered about it. You know what? At 30, I woke up and I was in chronic pain every day of my life. And I mean, really terrible. And I mean, the thing that broke my heart was I couldn't play with my kids. And I've been so much back to my normal self, playing with my kids. Not exactly back to my normal self.
So what was going on?
Well, it was a really, really long journey to figure it out, to be perfectly honest. And but basically what I found out was I had sustained a major injury when I was young that I did not acknowledge in any real significant way. I got hit by an SUV, and while I was
hit by an SUV,
exactly while I was riding my bike, and I got knocked off, hit the windshield, broke the windshield. I always said with my head, and hit the ground unconscious, woke up, jolted to my feet, thought my mom's gonna be so mad at me, and I tried to escape. And I remember in that moment now, reprogramming myself, going this never happened. No one will find out about this. This will not affect anybody in any way. Well, that's what I said. So for me,
as soon as you walked in the door, she knew.
No, but hold on, I'll tell you what happened. But just the way this stuff works is, and so many people just don't understand. Because if you haven't studied spiritual medicine, Eastern medicine, they've known about this for a long time. But in America, we're very ignorant to it, and very arrogant.
Very well spoken. Love this guy.
It's a bummer. I used to be very arrogant towards it as well. And when I started to recognize the merit of it, I was like, oh my God, what an arrogant guy I was, that I just was kind of just. But that's kind of how we're raised. It's those stupid Indians. The Indians weren't stupid either. They had their own form of what you would call Eastern medicine going on, and we didn't understand it.
Amazing stuff.
And there's a connection between all injury and our emotional journey in this world, and the things go hand in hand. And this took, for me to really understand this. I've been on, journeys with ayahuasca in Peru, a dozen times now, really
cool.
journeying to I literally, most people will see Mother Ayahuasca. I never saw her. I would always kind of communicate with her, like a psychic, and it's been a very long, very difficult process for me to admit that I'm some sort of psychic channel, and they always channel to me when I'm in these these situations. But she was literally like, so you think your mom, is going to be mad. You go like this, they're never going to find out about this. And then people pull me off my bike and I end up getting taken to the hospital. I get stitches in my head and they're worried about maybe I have a concussion, which I did. But I found out years later the concussion did damage to my REM, and I have an REM sleep, or I did an REM sleep for like 2 decades, which meant I wasn't healing in my sleep. And all I did was play contact sports growing up as I got older. And Mother Ayahuasca says to me, now, at any point in time, did you think, boy, I really sustained quite an injury to many different areas of my body, and I should try and recuperate or think about this on some level and heal? And I said, no. And she's like, well, there you go. and I like really could not deny. I was like, ugh, yeah, I just like ran away from that injury, and I was like not going to acknowledge it. And then I played football until I was about 28, I guess. I'm a national champion semi-pro football player. I played for the Brooklyn Mariners.
Like, what haven't you done? Like, serious?
I do whatever I want to do, and I try to do it well. But I kept getting injured, or thinking I was getting injured, but really all I was doing was stimulating some terrible injuries that I had to my left leg and whatever else. But I gave myself scoliosis. I was running on one leg,
You're a hot
and
mess.
at 30, I just had like huge nerve pain, like here and here. And then for the past 8 years, I've been on this like healing journey of just slowly working out the things that were causing my asthma and causing all these different things that I was dealing with. And as I've worked them out, I feel better and better, and I'm playing with my kids again, and I'm like, just feeling more and more like myself every day. So I'm just like very happy.
Asthma, huh?
Yeah. Yes, I had childhood asthma that I just sort of, my parents used to say I outgrew it. I didn't really outgrow it. It came around every now and then in the change of seasons. I just didn't care to deal with it, much like the car thing. So I would just kind of get used to it within like a week.
Yeah.
And then that was
that
it.
I know well.
Yeah.
It's been a bad week.
Yeah, well, like if it was really humid all of a sudden, I would be like, like I couldn't breathe.
Yeah.
Like if all of a sudden the air pressure changed, because I was getting used to whatever the air pressure was. So when it would change on me, it would kill me. But like if it rained sometimes, I'd be like, oh man, I can breathe. It's like so nice. I don't know what it is. Something about the air. Like I was.
Does your head open up?
I don't know. Like, but I was like getting so much more oxygen under certain circumstances, like so like certain pressures or whatever, and I would get all jazzed up because I could breathe more.
It's funny. I would be like, when I was working, I'd be like, oh, damn it, and my boss would be like, what's wrong? I mean, something like this. And he's like, oh God, it's gonna rain. And I was like, and about 10 minutes later, all of a sudden, it's like a faucet, and I'm like walking around with a roll of paper towels. Not like, a couple of napkins, like a roll of paper towels. It's like, so I get it. I so get it. Then the pressure, do you get the pressure in your head and it just...
I mean, it hasn't been anything that I acknowledge. This is sort of my problem. I don't acknowledge these things. I had chronic ear infections when I was a kid and some other problems that I'm not exactly sure what they were, that I was hospitalized for when I was a baby. So I got used to...
Yeah, however it is.
Whatever.
You just take it on.
Yeah, like I started kind of going deaf in one ear at some point, and I wouldn't say anything to my parents. So it just sort of like paints the picture of and then I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything about this either. And then
Don't
like,
make me stay home.
Yeah, and literally though, when I'm having this like trip on ayahuasca, I'm just like, oh, you mean like I gotta go back and like pay for that? Like I was like, nah, like I'm not gonna deal with this. So like you mean like I gotta like go all the way back there, like
I gotta
fix it from there. Like
yeah, somebody was talking to me about that.
I was like, I got a lot of other injuries on top of that one. Like, and that was sort of like I started going back going, I'm gonna have to like count all of the times I injured myself. Yeah. So yeah, but it's fine, and I'm getting there.
Okay.
I feel healthy.
Yeah.
I've always looked relatively healthy, but like I'm feeling healthy.
You feel healthy,
feeling
and that's
better.
even more. It's more important. Also, you stated death, depression, divorce, guilt, and fire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, your bio. This guy's got the coolest bio ever.
I've been through many trials. I like to think that it's just sort of the artist's journey. that if I hadn't gone through so much real stuff, I wouldn't be so useful as somebody to help others. And, I've definitely been through some shit. So, and come out the other side with a smile.
Okay.
And, and I mean, that's the thing. It's just like we survive and we got to get back to, who we are and what we love. And, so often, like, as kids, we come into the world so in love with everything. And then slowly but surely we get a little bitter about our moms and our dads, even though we start out going like, oh, you guys are the greatest. And then we're like, you guys are the greatest,
But yeah, no.
And
You're
then
so mean to
we
them.
have friends who we feel are really great, and then one day they really kind of let us down, and then we're like, yeah, you're the greatest, but, and we look around at the world, and there's all sorts of noisy, aggravating sort of people and aggravating things going on, and it can be really diminishing to the spirit, especially for any smart person. I really just I'm trying to be here for the intelligent people among us, because it really hurts your soul. Just the more books you read, the harder it is to acknowledge the system as it stands, because it's just built on
It's
twigs.
easier. You get the audio books and you listen to them.
Oh no, that's not what I mean. I mean, I'm just so tired of, when I used to.
Well, you said read books.
Well, look, when I used to read books, I used to think, wow, some of this stuff's pretty crazy. It would take a pretty big conspiracy in order for this to be true. Then I'd read another book, I think the same thing, and another book, and I think the same thing, and another book, I think the same thing. But after about 1,000 books, I now think, there's obviously a big conspiracy because I should not have 1,000 books that I can read
and all
on
say the
different
same
subjects that are
But it's all
all
the same.
demonstrating holes within the system where terrible things are allowed to happen. And it's just unacceptable, and that's really it for me. When it comes to all that stuff, I just can't. I can't do it anymore, and that's half the reason why I write the music that I write, because there are people out there who need more help than shake your ass to the music, which is half the shit that's on the radio, or one more love song. Like, how many more of those do we need? And that's like the other half of the shit on the radio. What else is there?
Shit on the radio.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much to this spiritual journey, and I'm not talking about it in those terms, just like, here's the new part of the spiritual journey, Zen Master. But, there are concepts and stories to be told that teach different lessons than we're being taught right now. As far as I'm concerned, we're not being taught anything, especially because there's so many cooks in the damn kitchen. Nobody knows who's steering the ship. And in a song, it's like, yeah, that sounds good, that makes sense. Let them decipher what it means. You need to have somebody who knows what it means, and not 8 different people going, no, I don't like that lyric. It's just so ridiculous to me. And this is why I've been outside of the music system for forever. And maybe I'll be. Now things are changing, so licensing my music is easier, so I'll probably be licensing my stuff to some bigger labels maybe. But it's just to give control over to the people who are currently controlling things creatively, it makes me want to vomit.
All right, we're going to take a commercial back and we'll be right back. I mean, we're going to be for whatever. Let's go to break. ALJ Service Center, 2100 Belmore Avenue in Belmore. Ray and the crew have an outstanding reputation in the Belmore community, built by hard work, honesty, and professionalism. ALJ specializes in computer diagnostics for today's modern automobiles. Whether it's domestic or foreign, ALJ assures your vehicle is at peak performance when it leaves. ALJ also offers expert restoration and repair on vehicles, as well as antique, classic, and muscle cars. Call ALJ for your automotive needs. 516-409-4433. Once again, that number is 516-409-4433.
This is Jerry Ann Casola. She has just finished working on a collection of short stories about the love and joy rescue animals can bring. Each chapter contains a message about how people should and could be kinder to animals. The book is rated G, meaning family friendly. To order Life in the Pits, send $13 to paypal.me/Jerryann Casola.
Pit of Our Souls, a nonprofit animal rescue that deals primarily with pit bulls but will never turn away any dog, no matter what breed or size. Their primary focus is not only to rescue and rehome those in need, but to educate and rehabilitate to prevent the cycle from continuing. Pit of Our Souls offers boarding, training, and as much assistance as possible to those in need. Call Pit of Our Souls 516-308-6221 or check out their website www.pitofoursoulsrescue.com. And we're back with Jesse Snider. Tell us about your song.
Well, my song "Knockout," or sorry, it's KO, is the first fresh video that we just made for my new album, "Come With Me If You Want to Live," which just came out like mid-quarantine. You know, and somebody was like, it's a quarantine. I'm like, yeah, I know, but like you set these things up in advance, and it was already set up, so.
So you got to roll with it.
So
just roll with it.
Promoting mid-quarantine. But it was kind of good because it was like a whole bunch of people who didn't have anything to do going like, all right, everybody go listen to music. But yeah, we just did a video with my buddy Ira Black, little guest appearance for me, and my co-writer and producer Michael Naranjo. He produced it and does a little guest appearance, and it came out great. I mean, for a quarantine video, it's pretty dope. You can check it out if you go Jesse Blaze KO and find it on YouTube.
All right. Talk to me about growing up twisted. Was Dad hard on you?
Was Dad hard on me?
Well, you were the first one, so you got all the beatings. We bled the path. So the others could follow and do what they want.
Yeah, to a certain degree, you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah,
path.
Yeah, my siblings don't really know him when he was young. I mean, just because parents, I was, Logan knows a sliver of me being a little angrier, but I was, I think, a little quicker to probably get myself together because I was very mad at my dad for doing that. When I saw that I was doing it too, I was like, oh, damn it, But it's a thing. It's not his fault, It's passed on from his dad, and his dad. Mm-hmm. It's not his fault. It was passed on from his dad.
Yep. I know it.
So you really just kind of got to forgive on that front. But yeah, on some levels he was very, very strict. On other levels, he was very, very free. So intellectually, pretty darn free.
Well, he's pretty darn smart.
Yeah, it's funny. My mom was a little bit more of a thing for me because my mom didn't. She likes to think that she let me do whatever I wanted to do, but she just tended to have a little bit of a controlling hand in how I looked, and that really I had a hard time with that. But that's what my mom does. She's an artist, and she's so good at that. And she just, I was her little doll, and she wanted to play with me. But feeling that energy of she wanted to have a say over what I did. I was no, stop it. Eventually makes you revolt. So I mean, it's all the typical kind of kid stuff. When people ask me what was it like, I kind of have always gone, I don't know.
They're just parents.
This was just my life.
Well, Dad might be famous and all, but he's still a parent.
Exactly. So, I mean, and like there's occasionally some things that would happen or extracurricular things that would be like a little bit different. I had an opportunity to go behind the scenes at an amusement park or, go backstage at a concert or whatever else, but not especially crazy. That was like, that's like a special occasion kind of a thing. But the main thing that I did realize was very different as I went out into the world and just like came to understand other people and their experience. And it was that they didn't necessarily have a pillar of success in their world. And to them, the prospects of their own success seemed very small because when they looked at the people around them, they were essentially in their mind failure, and because when I look to my right, and my mom too, I mean, just,
she's gorgeous. Your mom is gorgeous.
She's the most talented artist in the family. She's just a craftsman, and she's been making our home beautiful, and doing the special effects makeup for films, for my brother. I mean, like she does so many little hidden gem things like you wouldn't believe. When I could turn to them and see success, my mom graduated FIT at 16 years old. They're successful people. And she's gone to school for 4 other different things to get her license, her beauty license, and her makeup license, and others. They're successful people and strong people who have, found their foothold, fallen on their face, gotten back up again, done the whole thing. And that is the difference. What's it like to grow up with, Dee and Suzette Snider as your son? It's hopeful. It's optimistic. The world could be a better place.
When you were young and you saw Dad in makeup, did you know it was Dad or like?
I've thought about that a little bit because my mom, I don't remember, very far back. I mean, one of my earliest memories was being on somebody's shoulders walking out into the audience at during the Come Out and Play tour, which was very short-lived. They had this enormous set that was built. It was very expensive to cart it around the country, and but it was awesome. It had this big New York City building and a junkyard and an old car. Wow. It was really cool, and they had all this orchestration and stuff set up to different songs. So it was very memorable, and I remember being on the shoulders for that. But any earlier than that, I don't remember other than what I've been told, and vaguely remember, which was that MTV was just on in my house all the time. And my mom would just be like, "Daddy's on, Daddy's on, Daddy's on," and I'd come like running into the TV.
Like, where is he?
If you've ever had a dog and like when somebody comes to the door and you hype them up, like, like
go get him, go get him.
Somebody's at the door, boy. Somebody's up. And like that dog like starts responding to noises like you wouldn't believe. So my mom is training me at months old to respond to the television and the sight of my father in makeup or whatever. Well, actually, in the You Can't Stop Rock and Roll video, he's in like jeans and a vest or whatever, but still, he always looked like a big monster. I used to associate him with Sweetums from the Muppet Show, the big brown one with the big nose and the rags on. They're very separated.
I hope
at
he's
birth.
not watching.
No, I've told him that. As a child, it wasn't an insult. It's very similar. He has an album cover where he's covered in rags. It's this, caricature Muppet. I mean, it's close. You can connect them together, I think.
That man has some damn head of hair. Holy moly!
He loves to tell people that he never used hairspray, which is true. He never used hairspray. Everybody else is like puffing up their hair all the time.
Let's not go there.
And he's
Let's
like,
go there.
He would just get out of the shower and he was like, But then eventually, like all the years of bleaching it, I think it's kind of reined in a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, with all the years of bleach, we won't even go there because I could space out real fast. I get a little ditzy. And everybody says it's all the colors in my hair.
All the colors.
Colors, there's pink and blue in there too.
I want to do some color in my hair.
Well, you got to lighten it up to get
Purple.
some colors in there. Well, you could do the purple. The purple would be pretty cool.
Purple on my sheen.
Purple it out, yeah. You don't have Dad's hair.
No. No, well, golden brown.
Talk to me about Rock the Cradle. Flipping on stage and
I mean, well, that's stuff that I used to do with Baptized by Fire. So, I mean, Rock the Cradle was really frustrating for me because I'm a songwriter and I've been writing songs since I was a little boy. I mean, since before I could talk. And, my mom raised me on MTV to see my dad and The Muppet Show. And, just really a range of music. I mean, just have it on MTV. So I was playing a game with my friends the other night of pick out a memorable video. And I won the contest by pulling out Genesis's The World We Live In, which if you've ever seen that video, it's a creepy video. It's all these heads. This is the world we live in. Creepy. Everybody who knows it is out there going, oh yeah, creepy one, creepy video. But I mean, these are things I remember from my childhood. Like those are really my earliest memory is the Genesis video and thinking the Beastie Boys were really big guys. and I remember
and they're really small.
I remember seeing the Beastie Boys as a teenager, and I went, those aren't the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, they're really short.
Because I had pictured them in my mind as these big stout dudes, and then I see them and I'm like, this does.
They're short Brooklyn
Did
dudes.
they used to be kind of fat? What is this?
They're short and fat Brooklyn dudes.
No, they're not. They're not short, fat Brooklyn dudes. They're skinny Brooklyn dudes. And I went back and I watched the video and I'm like, this is impossible. This is impossible. They were big. They were totally big. So I was just one or something. And I'm like, the Beastie Boys, they seem like they really want to fight for their right to party. I'm not getting in their way. I'm just a little boy. So I was raised on music, and that's really really the start of it.
You are a riot.
But anyway, I mean, as it relates to Rock the Cradle, they wouldn't let me play original songs, and that's what I had been doing. I didn't want to do a TV show that essentially was all predicated upon who my father was. That was aggravating. But I had an opportunity to go wipe the floor with some people. And I wasn't viewing it quite so that way. I was viewing it as it'd be cool to, go and do something impressive. But not being able to play original songs, I only got to do cover songs. And they really kind of pulled the other one on the last episode. They made us learn originals. And then they told us at the last minute they weren't going to let us play our original unless we won. And then I thought I had a pretty good chance to win, and when I didn't win, I was just so mad because I just wanted to play my damn original song. And I just wish they would have let us do that.
But you have a famous dad. You can do whatever you want.
See, what does that mean? What does that even mean?
Well, wouldn't he give a little pull so you could play?
No, are you kidding me? They hated. I realize now that the whole reason why I lost the show. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. They had already decided what was happening, but they hated how we were trying to control the narrative. They were trying to control the narrative. They had the idea of the show. They didn't plan on D. Snider's son being of any significance to the thing. They saw my band. It was a punk metal band. They didn't think I could do anything that I could. I was performing for a decade. Yeah. So it's they gave me cover songs, and I don't like playing cover songs. But I put on a show. I kicked some ass, took some names, and I went off. And most of the people that they had, they got some great singers, like my friend Akiba. She was great, but she really struggled initially on the first few episodes of just finding her nice place and getting the voice that she deserved to have. Because she's got a great voice, and there was a bunch of everybody was very talented on that show. But when the time came, I can't say that everybody put out the best product, for a lot, but it's live in front of millions of people and your parents and a whole bunch of celebrities. So I mean, I didn't care because I had done similar things before, and there was a few of us who had, but most of them did not have a lot of experience, and that allowed me to go far. But really, at the end of the day, it set me up to be this pop guy like Bon Jovi or something, which I wasn't. I was an aggressive, I was in a Motorhead and Ramones inspired punk band called Baptized by Fire. And when I did my show for all the people who were interested in working with me.
Is that the one that I saw you in, Baptized by Fire?
Yeah. Well, that was the band that it became when Blazed lost Chris. But when I did that show, nobody knew what to make of me because they wanted me to be Bon Jovi. And because I was singing punk rock, I was singing one of my songs called Fuck You. So I'm sitting there cursing my head off. Nice. And and I'm getting this sort of reaction from some of the audience of, oh, I thought oh, never mind. I guess I'm not going to be bringing him to Kellogg's, something like that.
Yeah, that would be a little rough, huh?
And that was
children's
never
cereal.
that was never my intention. So it was just sort of like, it was just like a real misappropriation of who I was, and it didn't lead anywhere. And at the time, it really just threw me for a loop. I didn't know what to do because like the interest in me seemed to kind of fizzle, even though I did really well on the show. And then I decided to just go behind the scenes because that's where I'm more comfortable anyway. And I've been making music for movies and TV shows and like ESPN and things like that ever since. So just like doing placements and putting out things on my own, which like all that stuff's available online now.
What'd you do for NASCAR? I love NASCAR.
I have a song called "Crank It Up." I'm pretty sure was used for NASCAR, or they might have used Promised Land. No, I think it was "Crank It Up." Yeah, it's just a cool, rousing anthem, and got used for NASCAR.
Okay, it says your music has been on Monday Night Football,
Yep.
NASCAR, college football, and A&E. How did you tone down an A&E?
Well, I wrote the theme song for "Growing Up Twisted" for one. Which was cool, which is called "Growing Up Twisted," and with my buddy Johnny Black, and then I also with Johnny I co-wrote a song for my daughter for our christening for my first kid, and it was part of the show, and then I had a song that I wrote called "Rock and Roll Ain't Dead" that my father was gonna. Well, I guess he did record it. We recorded it, but it ended up not getting released just because kind of the moment passed.
Yeah.
But I had recorded a version of it, and that ended up finally getting released. And all these songs got used on "Growing Up Twisted" for the show. So it was really cool because, it was like they came to me for some of it, and then but I did pitch myself for the theme song. But then we got compliments that were like they figured it would be crappy and it was good, and then
So
everything else kind of like worked out like as. Can you do this? I was like, yes, we can do this. And then my dad had really liked that song and wanted to do something, and then that was brought to the show, and we got to do that. So it was really nice. And it was cool. I liked doing it. The show was very realistic, honestly. It was set up in that we prepared because we were only going to shoot for the time that we were going to shoot.
Yeah.
So let's do that during this time so that we can shoot it. But largely very indicative of us, and the few things that people call out as fake were real, and the few things that people believe the most were fake. Like the one thing that people always love to believe is that guy called me out for being like Dee Snider's son and like not having talent or something like that, like in the show. I forget exactly what he says, but then I'm like, hey man, and I stand up to him or whatever. That was all set up. That was set up for the show. Look, I've never had anybody have the balls to say any of that stuff to my face.
Oh my
if
gosh.
anybody believes it, which I don't. I'm a good guy. I try to treat everybody well, and if I decide that I didn't treat you well, I'll call you 4.5 years later out of the blue, and I'll tell you, I'm sorry. As I've done before.
That's admirable, though. That's a very nice thing because a lot of people don't admit to their mistakes.
Yeah, I don't like being on the wrong side of good. I like to do things the right way. So
I try.
I believe that about you. Yeah. So
I try. It's just people get to you and you just, I don't know, my mouth just goes.
It's easy to get lost in that, and I just see like right now it's been such a polarized time, and I found myself like falling into pits of like arguments, so often useless ones. Like I was sort of like, this is doing neither of us any good.
I don't have time for this.
Yeah, but they don't have time for this. Like like respect to you, respect to me. Like, ugh, like, ugh. And when it's somebody that you actually like, you're just like, we should not do this again.
Yeah.
Like, let's not. Let's talk about comic books next time, my friend, and not about
stick to that.
all of this.
Not
because
politics
this is
and religion.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're good on this for a moment.
No, I tell everybody before they come on, I do not discuss politics and religion on this show. It's just...
There's a time, like those things are worth talking about when you have an open line with somebody. And if you do... Like, people need to go to those friends, the right friends.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the Jewish religion? Go to that right friend of yours who's a Jew, and he's like, yes, Yes, I see the balance of what
Oy.
you're saying. Yes,
Oy.
you know, go. You find the person who you trust, who you know that you can have these conversations with, because that's so much more satisfying. You know, and then you are having an open conversation, and you are exchanging ideas, and there's like so little exchange of ideas going on right now. That's the
Yeah.
thing that frustrates me. It's just like nobody's like, hey, like, let's talk. It's sort of just like,
Unfriend. I hate
Yes,
you. F you.
yes,
F
yes,
you. F
yes,
you.
yes.
No, I don't have time for that.
Yes.
No, I live. This is my bubble.
Yes.
Don't burst my bubble. We're
I try not to
good.
do that. It's so funny. I did it the other day by accident, just because like I was annoying this woman, she was annoying me, and I was just sort of like, hey, I'll unfriend us. Now we won't annoy each other. And then she was like, you say you won't unfriend somebody, you unfriend me? And I'm like, sweetie, this isn't exactly fair. I didn't think you would care. I thought I was doing us both a favor. I'm sorry that I'm sorry that I offended you, but I appreciate that you called me on it. And I'm like, if you I value my friendship, cool. But I'm like, I just don't want to be fighting. I don't want to be fighting about this stuff.
Think unfriend.
It's too
Think
much.
unfriend. No. Jerry
I think
has-
I've decided to just make myself a little less accessible.
There you go.
I've made myself
I don't
very
even read
accessible
emails
for a long
sometimes.
time, and well, it's so funny. It's so funny how unaccessible most people are, and I'm sort of ridiculously accessible, and I've just always been, because that, like, when I was a VJ on MTV, and I just had a lot of usually like young teen girls who were like cutting themselves and worried about like suicide and stuff, and I was able to just sort of be like, stiff upper lip and like hang in there and
talk
like,
to them,
just to kind of be somebody, just to be like, it's all right.
Yeah, there's
And
a lot of that going on.
I saw the value of that. And because of the value of that, it just always made me feel like, well, if I could be available to somebody in a meaningful way, like, I'm cool with that. And I do. I have so many great friends from that, like my friend Angela, who, her whole family adores me because her brother was dying of cancer for years. And every time he was in the hospital, I'd be calling him and telling him he was a juggernaut and like, trying to help the family, get it together, and people appreciate it. So I mean, it is worth it, but at the same time, though, as it amasses in its enormity, eventually, like it's energy sucking.
All right. Well, we're getting close to that time, that
yeah.
wonderful time. So, do you have? Tell them your websites and
Please
whatever
visit blacklightdistrict.co. Check out the awesome that is there, and then follow me on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter. Whatever you want.
Twit,
Jesse Blaze.
Parlor.
and YouTube. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos and stuff if you like anything. If you like the cut of my jib, I'm going to be doing some more things talking about writing process and talking about spiritual stuff, and it'll be pretty cool. So, follow the Blacklight District Studios channel.
All right.
Yeah.
I love this guy. He's so cool. You really are. You're a
Thank
really
you,
good
sweetie.
kid.
Oh, you're cool too. Thank you.
All right.
appreciate
As I said, all things must come to an end, and so much the show. I'd like to
Thank you for the tea.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Tea. He wants a lot of sugar, and he needs it to be light. As I was saying, now that I lost my train of thought here. Oh, he gave me kisses. All good things must come to an end, and so must the show. I want to thank Bobby Lacera, my producer, because he keeps it real and he keeps me pretty damn level-headed. My sponsors, Ray from ALJ Service Center, Russ and Joanne from the Hitman Blues Band, and of course to the viewers, because without you, we would not have a show. See y'all next week. Toodles.